Alright guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today we're going to be talking about the Way of the Rose Monk from Valda's Spire of Secrets. If you're new to the channel or the subclass series, what we're going to do is go through all the abilities gained in the subclass. We're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in the subclass improve on the base class abilities.
That's correct.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be entered in the D&D Beyond Players Bundle giveaway.
We like giving away free stuff.
For sure. All that being said, we'll jump straight into it. Alex, Way of the Rose Monk. What do we get?
We get the sweet aroma. Starting at level 3. Your spirit is taken on a floral aspect, causing you to smell of roses at all times. I want to make an Outcast reference there, and I'm hoping you're going to get that without taking any more time there on that rabbit hole. You have advantage on persuasion checks relating to love or romance. So basically you're a bard monk. Got it. Furthermore, creatures with the keen smell trait or similar abilities have disadvantage on ability checks made to track you.
Yes.
So it's very specific.
That is
not like
any
not any ability check used to track you. It's like specifically with, it says keen smell trait or similar ability. Yeah. That does create a lot of gray area there. As I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Then at level 3 we have Blossom Burst as well. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 1 key point to produce a vibrant eruption of flower petals, which obscures the target's vision. Until the end of the target's next turn, it can see out to 5 feet, but is blind beyond this radius. The flower petals follow the creature when it moves, unless the creature takes the dash action or moves more than 40 feet on its turn. There's lots to be said about that, but we'll save that for the rating portion.
We'll get to that in a little bit. At level 6, we have Falling Petal Flurry. When you perform a special technique that allows you to disappear in a blizzard of rose petals, whenever you use your flurry of blows, you can teleport up to 10 feet in any direction. This movement can take place before, during, or after the attacks, but can't be split into 2 moves. So you can't, like, unarmed strike, then teleport, then unarmed strike. It has to,
Yeah.
It's
a little weird worded, but...
Yeah, but you get it. you get a free teleport to get away, kind of a disengage where you can hit somebody else, essentially.
Thanks again to our sponsors, Hit Point Press and their Fable Makers deck. Omens and fortunes that you can incorporate into your campaigns. It's got books to describe ways to add these things into your campaigns, to add intrigue, plot hooks, all kinds of different ways to utilize these features.
Hey, check out this really weird or intriguing, interesting thing that kind of steer people back towards your main plotline that you're needing to advance a story you're trying to get to.
Absolutely. So guys, make sure you check out the link in the description down below. Level 11, Colors of Love. You can manifest the love represented by the rose and the faintly glowing aura. When you finish a long rest, choose one of the following auras, which lasts until you use this feature to choose a different one. This aura radiates 5 feet from you, so pretty small radius on here.
Yep.
You have 3 options. First is pink, the color of gratitude. Attuning to the pink rose turns a good deed into its own reward. You can use the help action as a bonus action to assist an ally within your aura. Okay? Red, the color of desire. Attuning to the red rose fills you with burning passion. Friendly creature other than you within the aura can use its bonus action when it hits with an attack to deal an extra 1d6 damage. And then lastly we have white, the color of purity. Attuning to the white rose aligns your key with the heavens. When a friendly creature other than you ends its turn within your aura, it gains temp HP equal to your wisdom modifier. So yeah, some interesting options on there, which, again, have some thoughts on those.
Yes, indeed. We do. And finally, level 17, we have Wreathed in Thorns. You distract your foes with stunning beauty and bouquets of flowers, opening up to lightning quick counterattacks. When you take damage from a creature you can see within 5 feet, you can spend 1 key point as a reaction to make an unarmed strike against that creature.
There we go. Those are all the abilities gained in the subclass.
That's
we'll
right.
just jump straight into the rating portion of the video. First up is the roleplay value, asterisk, as always. Talking about roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside of the initiative order.
Yep.
Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background. That's on you as a player. We can't rate you, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass, how they might improve your potential in those roleplay scenarios. So, all that being said, there's a lot of this going on in the combat side, as you have noticed.
Yep.
The main thing here that you're getting for the roleplay side is going to be that first ability on here with your bonus to Romantic Persuasion, which is nice and can come up relatively frequently, especially depending on how lenient your DM is with this ability.
Yep.
Because romantic could be confused or blurred with like flirting or just being overly nice, giving winky eyes, you know.
Yeah,
you can kind of like play it off, you know, like you're super suave, you know, or something. So that could be used a lot of times. But you are a monk, so charisma is not necessarily your strong stat, especially considering wisdom.
You're
dex,
probably going to want to take a background or some way to give yourself proficiency in persuasion if you're going to be relying on this as part of your kit and whatnot.
So it's a small little part on here, and then also the disadvantage on smell tracking. Okay, that's super niche. I don't know how often that will come up, if ever. So
once a campaign.
Yeah, maybe.
I think reliably once.
That being said, there's not really a whole lot else going on here. I mean, maybe super niche is the unarmed strike, using a key point to like blind something, but it's only for one turn, and you also have to hit something, which is usually going to initiate combat. So that being said, we just gave it a 1.5 in the RP department.
Like, maybe if you could argue you're trying to distract somebody, maybe you're trying to start a brawl in a tavern so you can sneak out, so you can like blind somebody and whop in the back of the head, and like.
But even at that, it's only from one round.
Right. Yeah.
So.
But you're making think, homeboy over there hit him instead of you. So.
Right. There's some potential in there.
Yeah. That moves us over into the combat side of things, where obviously if only one ability really gives anything to RP, the rest of them are all going to be focused on the combat side of things, and that is obviously the case. Blossom Burst, by far the most important thing with this subclass. Both of us immediately went, that. Because you can spend just one key point, to obscure the target's vision until the end of their next turn. So yes, it's only for one round, essentially, but it still gives them cuts their sight down to 5 feet. So they can't see anything outside of that range. So your immediately thought is like, they're going to disadvantage on attacks made outside of that range. Yes, because they can't see what they're hitting. But the other thing is, if you can be really clever about it, if you're fighting something that is not very smart, you could probably lure them into some difficult terrain, some other spell, because if you go and then you have a caster goes, they can't see a trap that was put down or anything else, and you try to like taunt them or like, I'm over here, whatever, they start running at you. They can run into something they really wouldn't want to, preferably run off a cliff. That would be ideal.
Or just, there's lots of it. You just pretty much have your whole party just completely rearrange or hide, or they're going to get advantage because the creature can't see them attacking for a round. Mm-hmm. For one key point, that's pretty impactful. Yeah.
And it says the only way they can get around it is to take the dash action to get out of the blinding effect, or to move more than 40 feet on a single turn. But again, even if they do the 40-foot option in a random direction, they still might run into something that they don't want to run into in that time frame. So for how little the cost is, love the ability.
Yes.
6 with the Petal Flurry, again, chances to give you a free disengage essentially when you do a flurry of blows. Cool. Nothing too crazy about that. It kind of lets you some flexibility when you use the teleports. If you want to hit somebody, pop, and then get away from them to create some space, then use your movement so you can kind of get in there, give them a couple quick pops, and then get out. 11, the aura. Why can't this scale up? I want the aura to go even if it just went to 10 feet.
Yeah, 5 feet is
you got to be standing right next to somebody. Granted, you're probably going to find a fighter or a barbarian or a paladin in your party you can stand next to give them this, because any of those are going to have some level of help. Probably you'd rather take the help action or even the temp HP, even though temp HP isn't much. It's still just consistent health for a teammate. Yeah. The extra 1d6 damage is never bad, but it's only 1d6 extra damage. So it's like, so there's... Yeah. None of those are crazy, but the help action is probably going to be the best choice most of the time.
Yeah.
As your bonus action.
Like the health. It's just whenever someone needs some extra health or whatever.
None of them are necessarily bad, but they're not crazy impactful.
One of my concerns with this is it is only 5 feet, and it's typically not advised if I'm DMing to stand next to a party member, because I will take advantage of that with some extra damage.
I was like, there will be a caster or some cleave ability that's going to annihilate more than whatever bonus you get out of being 5 feet next to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
That's correct. And finally at 17, we have the Wreath and Thorns. It's, again, all the abilities here are great flavor-wise, but not super impactful. Granted, it only does cast you one key point again. It's essentially an extra opportunity attack. Way to trigger that with you get hit, so you can pop them back in the face real quick. So cool. It's free. It's very small cost to a little extra damage, especially by then when your martial art dies at E12. So that's fine. You know, it's nothing too crazy, but
For Capstone,
yeah,
it's kind of like
if that was the 11, and then the Colors of Love was like more powerful, bigger aura, and it's 17,
yeah,
I'd be a little bit more happy about it.
Yep.
All that there, we gave it a 3.5 out of a 5, and this is another one of these. If you watched our Pestilence Cleric video, which should have been out before this one, math-wise, because it did come before this in the book. Both of them kind of come online earlier,
yes,
and they kind of lean almost to me. I brought this up to Jameson before about they might make for very interesting dips with something else, multi-class options, because you're getting
3 to
more
6 levels.
You're getting more impactful stuff early that still scale well enough, because Blossom Burst at level 3, like heck, it's just one key point to mess with somebody's thing, because again, there's no save on that. They're just getting their vision cut. So Ancient Red Dragon, you can't see more than 5 feet for the next.
I could save somebody's life. They could just literally
because now they're like, but where do I fire the breath weapon at? Well, last time I knew there was people over there, so I'm going to fire it over there. So there's only one person instead of 6 over there.
Right.
So fantastic.
Definitely. All that being said, lastly we have the overall class synergy, which there is some interesting options on here. The biggest thing with monks typically is going to be key point usage and those abilities that the key point usage is used for, such as Flurry of Blows, which is probably one of the most go-to abilities for monks in general. And of course, with this we do get some extra options. The Blossom is a new key point option, which is actually very good. Mm-hmm. The only downside again with this is it is only for 1 turn, which is still impactful, but the fact that it can just be completely negated as well is a bit of a hindrance as well to the reliability of it. If you're fighting something that has 60 fly speed or something, it literally is not going to do anything against them, because if they just fly 60 feet every turn, it's just worthless.
You're really going to have to like put up some spell or some kind of a trap effect that would trigger when they go by it once they move. But you got to hope they move in that direction.
Exactly. If they use their dash action, I will take that any day of the week. To use their action, absolutely. But
you're hoping they do that.
If they have 40, 50, 60 movement speed, I mean, maybe you force them to move away. There's some tactical stuff that can be done with that as well. But again, there is that limitation. It is only 1 key point as well, though. So pro con.
There's a lot more pro than con when you factor in the cost that it's just 1 key point.
And then again, as I said, Flurry of Blows is really your go-to. So just to buff that up in and of itself is a pretty solid thing to do. And Teleport is always nice for some, disengage essentially, or to close gaps as well. Mm-hmm. Being a melee, typically, with Monk with unarmed strikes, it's going to help. The aura thing is interesting, but not very impactful, I would say, and could actually end up being more risk than reward being standing next to allies on a consistent basis.
Again, with the amount of stuff that has multi-attack, cleaves, and spellcasters later in games, or spell-like effects and things. Yeah.
And then the capstone is a bit lackluster, but it is another usage for your key points, so we just went with a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah. You get some good options, but they're not anything super crazy.
Yeah, two of the 3 are okay. Right. And 1 we think is really good.
Exactly. So, that's going to be it for this one, guys. An interesting combination of abilities on here.
And great for flavor, for sure. You're playing around the flowers things.
Suave,
Yeah, for your and here's an anime reference. If you're Yu Hakusho people, show from way back.
Wow, okay.
It makes me think of Kurama because he plays around with like the vine whips and like thorns and stuff.
Yep.
He did not know I was going to make that reference. I just rocked his world.
I didn't know he even watched you actually, but that is a great reference. I approve. Always approve of the anime references. Going to be honest. That's going to be all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when new videos are coming out. Mm-hmm. Thanks again to our sponsors, Hit Point Press. Make sure you check out those. Always appreciate their help, their support, your support. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.